Baseball season is here at last, and the excitement continues all season long at DraftKings.com, the official daily fantasy partner of Major League Baseball. Daily fantasy means no season-long commitments. Why wait until the end of the season to claim victory when you can win huge cash every day? Hurry to DraftKings.com now and enter promo code PARDON to play for free. You could win part of the $300 million in prizes being awarded this season. Enter PARDON for free entry now at DraftKings.com. That's DraftKings.com.
Pardon the interruption, but I'm Mike Wilbon. The actor, Jonah Hill, says he'd like to be Oprah for a day. Tony, who'd you like to be?
I'm Tony Kornheiser. Dead.
What?
It's a great deal. I live off the largesse of Oprah Winfrey. I get to walk around with her. Everything's paid for. It's a good life.
Paint her toes?
Not paint her toes. You can hire someone to paint her toes. How many toes she got, anyway? You know? No. I'd like to be pals with Jonah Hill. I like it. Welcome to PTI, boys and girls. In today's episode, the NFL sort of addresses its catch rule. The Bills and Jags will play online. And Kevin Love says he and LeBron aren't best friends. But we begin today with who wasn't named college basketball's Coach of the Year, John Calipari. His Kentucky Wildcats are 36-0, but that wasn't good enough for the U.S. Basketball Writers Association, who named Virginia's Tony Bennett Coach of the Year. The Cavaliers were real good. They finished 30-4, but again, Calipari is 36-0. Wilbon, does Bennett deserve this award over Calipari?
No. Even though Bennett only lost 2 of those games when the votes have to be in.
How many Calipari games when the votes were in?
None.
Thank you.
And Cal, if I was voting, I used to, I think, be a dues-paying member of that organization, and I think you did too.
No.
You weren't? You weren't ever a U.S. basketball writer?
Nope.
Okay, well, I was. And let me just say this, and I was formerly of this. There's something worse than this out there when you do a little research, and you find that in the history of this award, and these are friends, close friends, many of them, Mike Krzyzewski, who has, I believe, 4 national championships and 11 trips to the Final Four, has never been this organization's Coach of the Year. And when you find that out, you say, you know what? Something's wrong here. There are too many individual agendas, or maybe there's a collective agenda. If Coach K is never your Coach of the Year, something's wrong.
Here's the case I'm going to make for Tony Bennett, who's a really, really good coach. The case is this. He played in a much harder conference than the SEC.
Yeah, he did a great season.
And he finished ahead of Duke and Carolina and Louisville and NC State, who are all still in the tournament.
He's great.
That's the case, and he is a great coach.
We agree.
But he's the wrong choice here.
This year,
Calipari is the right choice here, because here's what Calipari has done. A, he hasn't lost any games. And B, and he and Mike Krzyzewski, and I'm glad you mentioned him, because they understand the one-and-done era better than anybody. And they play to it in the same way now. But Calipari has taken all these McDonald's All-Americans and convinced them to play less time.
Together,
they play together.
as a team.
And by the way,
this is hard.
I think he's only starting 2 freshmen because he's got people who stayed over.
So do we think this is an anti-Cal agenda? Is that
only 100%.
Your friends,
it's aimed at John Calipari because people don't like him. By the way, Mike Krzyzewski did a great job this year integrating 3 freshmen as starters.
If I told you that an organization that covers basketball in 40 years never had Mike Krzyzewski as the Coach of the Year despite 4 national championships, you would say what?
No, I would say that you have to disband. You have to take the charter away.
I think you were a member. I think you were.
No.
We'll ask you.
But I was honored by them a number of times, and you were not.
I'm glad I wasn't now. Those of you thinking these NFL winter meetings would produce a common sense rule change that would make that Dez Bryant non-catch a catch, you people are going to be sadly disappointed.
You people.
The competition committee has decided to opt out of the language of making, quote, a football move, close quote, to establish possession to, quote, clearly establishing himself as a runner, close quote. So, under this tweaked rule, Dez Bryant's catch still ain't a catch. Jeff Fisher says this really clears things up. Tone, what? This is going to fix the problem?
I think it's time for a history lesson here, and I'm going to go back to Watergate for people old enough to remember what Watergate was about.
Got to be 50.
And Sam Ervin was the chairman of the investigating committee in Watergate, and he had a quote that goes something like this. If it looks like a duck and walks like a duck and quacks like a duck, it's a duck. Dez Bryant made a catch.
It's a catch.
That's a catch. We all saw it. That's a catch. If you now have language to take away that catch, your language has to
Well, no, it was not a catch last year.
It's not a catch now.
You bring this topic up if you were at the NFL winter meetings in Arizona for one reason. Because you don't want to have what happened with Des Bryant happen again.
That's
in
right.
full view of the world. But, Tony, and this is where, you sneer at me when I say the NFL's arrogance knows no bounds. So you fix this situation by doing what? You muddy it more, and now it's just it's completely subjective. What are they doing?
I don't understand the notion of why you write in a rule that you have to be able to run 30 yards with the ball. You go up in the air, you catch it, you fall down,
two steps,
you have the ball. You have the ball. Look, we saw this past week, with SMU and UCLA. A shot that could not possibly have ever been a basket. Could not be a basket. This Des Bryant thing, this is a catch. Everybody knows it's a catch.
Not the
Just
NFL.
write the rule. It says it's a catch.
They said it's not. And you know what? You'll like it, and you'll watch, and you'll cheer.
Yes, but a catch is a catch is a catch is a catch.
What sense does this make? How can you defend this, really?
So we now have two stories that are indefensible. Let's go for three.
Okay, good.
There's a report out there by our friend Jason Lockenfor of CBS that the owner of the Cleveland Browns, Jimmy Haslam, a Tennessee native, might be looking to swap his ownership of the Browns for ownership of the Tennessee Titans if the Titans are put up for sale as expected. Predictably, the Browns thoroughly deny this, but that doesn't stop us. Wilbon, would you be okay with this deal?
Yeah. There's even precedent for it at least once that I can remember. It seems like I was a teenager.
Carol Rosenbluth.
Carol Rosenbluth and his very, very young then wife, Georgia
Frontieri,
swapped it out with Irsay.
Bob
the
Irsay.
Mad Tweeter's
dad, Bob Irsay.
They swapped
took
it
the
out.
Colts.
The
He had
Colts
moved
and
to
the
LA.
Rams.
He wanted to own the Rams.
Right.
And she later moved the Rams to St. Louis, where they languish.
Well, because he won a Super Bowl. But, Tony, this has happened in the NFL. And that's the case we know of. Who knows, in the 20s and 30s, there might have been more cases of this. And so you've had it in the NFL. Why not? If I'm Cleveland, I want to get this guy who owns the Browns now, I want to get him as far out of town as possible, in Tennessee's perfectly fine.
Yes, it's fine on all levels. I mean, he has been a less than stellar owner far with the Browns.
He's been awful.
Yeah, I give you that. So now we would go to see the Titans seem to have been run pretty well. Now let's see if he can sink them. But if he wants to go to Tennessee, fine. You know what he reminds me of? He is to the NFL what Steve Ballmer was to the NBA. He just wanted a franchise. The Browns were available. He bought the Browns. He tried.
He didn't pay an amount that was going to change the entire financial landscape of the league.
But he wanted to get in. And then he offered the head coaching job to 2,000 people before he found Mike Pettin. So I would say to Ken Wisenhunt, watch your back if this guy comes in. But I don't know why Cleveland Browns fans would be angry at this.
They wouldn't be angry. They'd be throwing a parade.
Yeah,
just give them one step closer to at least not being a summertime joke with their quarterback situation. Because if you bring in an owner who actually owns and doesn't try to be a clown. But, Tony, if you're Tennessee, how do you feel? Except, wait a minute. Isn't he related
to the governor?
To the governor, his brother?
He's the brother of the governor. I just want to go back to Carol Rosenbluth for a second. Because the greatest commissioner of any sport at any time, Pete Rozelle, was a commissioner then.
That's right.
And he approved it. And it helped.
What was the age difference then between Carol and Georgia? About 40 years, you think? Wasn't she in her late 20s?
Oh, no.
Maybe 30? Maybe.
I don't know. You know what? I don't study the age differences. I didn't chart that.
That's an age difference you might want to know. More NFL news, Tone. The league first, actually. A game played in London between Jacksonville and Buffalo. It's going to be played at 9:30 in the morning Eastern time. And it will not be on any kind of traditional television outside the local markets. Instead, the NFL will treat the Bills and Jags as lab rats and offer fans a chance to see the game only if they stream it on a yet-to-be-named provider. An NFL spokesperson says the league will evaluate the feedback and determine what to do next. So, significant move by the NFL?
I think it actually could be a revolutionary move, and I want to go through it point by point. This is a terrible game. This is a dog game. This is Buffalo, Jacksonville in London. Okay, nobody in America would watch this game, so they put it to London, and the unsuspecting Brits will fill up the stadium. It'll be on at 9:30 in the morning.
I bet they won't.
And they will because they fill it up all the time.
A real team.
So what happens is, because there's no ratings expectations of this, if this does well, then the next time a block of games is up for
bid,
they go to
Netflix.
They go to
Hulu
Netflix
or something,
or Amazon or Apple or any of those people for huge money, because they have more money than anybody. So it could be a very big deal.
It could be, Tony. The question is, if you're going to make two teams lab rats, why do you start? And I shouldn't put Buffalo. Buffalo's not really in the same.
They're not glamorous
situation.
Jacksonville's not glamorous.
Jacksonville's
Tennessee,
unwatchable the last couple of years.
Glamorous.
Buffalo's watchable. They're competitive. Jacksonville wasn't.
They weren't competitive until last year.
Okay, but Jacksonville wasn't last year.
Right.
So you got them on. I guess you know what? It's any NFL game, and any NFL game is going to attract eyeballs, and therefore you study the situation. But years ago, people thought this whole Netflix situation would rise up.
It still might.
Well, it probably will.
This is bad for me.
People are now not subscribing. They don't have cable.
This is bad for me because it's 9:30 in the morning on Sunday morning, which is my wheelhouse. And now I find out I can't watch it on traditional TV, and I got afraid I'd have to watch it on a phone, which I don't want to do.
Just call a millennial to your house. They know how to do it.
I found out if I call my son Michael, he can make sure I can watch it actually on my TV.
There you have it.
So this is good.
You know what's going to break down?
Netflix.
If you are over 50, you're going to say, to hell with this stupid game and not watch it. You can watch reruns of Will and Grace at 9:30.
The NFL can go all over the world
and I
with
got
this.
Apple TV,
all over
and
the
I'm not
world.
streaming
You know how much
it.
money there is in this? All over the world.
This is what they do.
Yes.
They print money.
They're
the NFL.
smarter than you and I.
Maybe you.
Now we return to the continuing saga of Kevin Love and LeBron James and whether they will walk off into the sunset together. Love said on ESPN radio of LeBron, and I quote, "We're not best friends. We're not hanging out every day, but we see each other every day. I think our relationship is evolving," unquote. For further evidence of their estrangement, we submit a LeBron Instagram photo titled "Click Up" that featured a lot of Cavaliers, including new Cavs, Mozgov, Perkins, and Smith, but not Love. Wilbon, what do you read into this?
I don't read anything into that. Maybe Love was taking the photo.
Maybe.
Maybe he was in the bathroom.
That's possible.
I don't read anything into that. What I read into is Kevin Love, a lot of people told him, most importantly Chris Bosh, here's the adjustment you're going to have to make. This is not all fun and games, but you can do this. If you sacrifice, you can win a championship. And the question is, does Kevin Love want to do it? Whether he there are teammates who've been on every championship team. You tell me about the 1970 and 73 Knicks all the time. And what do you say? How do you say they got home for the game?
5 Cavs, 5 separate people.
Okay, so not best friends, and they played together, and it worked.
Yes.
So this can work, except that I don't know that Kevin Love is inclined. I don't know. Chris Bosh made this work. It was the toughest job of any of the three. Love, you going to do this?
First of all, they're winning all the time.
They do.
So it's okay because they're winning all the time. Second of all, we work together every day. We call each other up all the time. We play golf here and there. We don't socialize all the time together. No. You know, your kid is 7 years old. My kids are out. So and nobody's analyzing us and wondering how we're doing. I mean, Kevin Love, I don't understand his willingness.
I'm leaving the show. I'm going to announce my intentions right now.
Good, because I'll bring in Whitlock.
I'm sure.
I just don't understand why Kevin Love is so willing to hop on the couch. You know what, Mike? I love Kevin Love as a player. If he doesn't want to be there, get out.
I agree.
You want to go hang out with Russell Westbrook, your old UCLA buddy? You want to go to the Lakers?
I agree.
Go.
I will
have a great time. But while you're there, shut up and win like you've been doing.
Listen, from being in NBA locker rooms, particularly over the last few weeks, Tony, this is just an open discussion. People, players, coaches, staff. So what do you think Kevin Love's going to do? Kevin Love's out of there, right? You think Kevin Love is staying? This is it's a huge discussion. And Tony,
I would stay with LeBron because that's my ticket to win championships. He's the best in the business.
Knicks
I would
got
stay.
money. Lakers got money. Celtics got money.
Win the championship this year, and then you want to go.
Yeah.
Go. Like the Seattle Seahawks, who won one, get out.
They could win.
Let's take a break.
Listen to you.
Coming up, Adrian Peterson's agent, your boy, wants him out of Minnesota.
Get out. Out of the country?
No, I'm not saying that because I'm not pulling a Klinsman.
And the NBA admits the 8 bad or missed calls in the final 2 minutes of a recent game. Is this something or nothing?
Klinsman's your account. You kicked him out of the country. I'm not doing that.
Did I say the country?
Yes, actually.
Did I say it?
Baseball season is here at last, and the excitement continues all season long at DraftKings.com, the official daily fantasy partner of Major League Baseball. Daily fantasy means no season-long commitments. Why wait until the end of the season to claim victory when you can win huge cash every day? Hurry to DraftKings.com now and enter promo code PARDON to play for free. You can win part of the $300 million in prizes being awarded this season. Enter PARDON for free entry now at DraftKings.com. That's DraftKings.com.
Time for something or nothing. Wilbon is introducing the topics. Let's see what happens.
All right, Tony, here we go. Adrian Peterson's agent's comments. Something or nothing.
The agent's name is Ben Dogra, and this is something with a capital S. He's saying that Peterson is not served to be there.
That's right.
Peterson himself, when he spoke, said he felt betrayed by the Minnesota Vikings.
Yes.
Now, the Vikings want to hold on to him, But if he doesn't want to be there, even though they have the leverage, if he's an unhappy player, I would suggest to other teams, start lining up your trade possibilities right now, because he wants out of there.
Everybody's talked about the Cowboys, obviously. The Cardinals are apparently a team that for some, maybe for Minnesota in terms of trade value, could be in front of the Cowboys. Tony, it is something. It is no question about it. Look, I understand that right now Minnesota still has all the leverage because he is under contract.
But
not the NFL team's paying attention to contracts for long. But if you've got a player of this magnitude, ability, this importance to the state of Minnesota, not to mention your market, you got to get rid of him probably.
What's next?
Let's see what's next. Warriors blowing out your Wizards.
Yeah, this
something
is
or nothing.
absolutely nothing.
Really?
Golden State wins all the time at home. They win by 15 plus.
2 losses.
They blew them out by 31. Let's understand how this works. The Wizards are sinking. The Wizards are 9-16 in their last 25. They couldn't make a shot at all in a third quarter.
17
I take that back. They made one shot. 1 out of 18. John Wall in the game is 4-16. This is completely predictable. They were in the second game of a back-to-back on the road, and they've been blown out now 3 straight times. It's nothing.
I'd love to scream at you, but you know I'm not going to. It's nothing. When you've lost 2 games, your Golden State, the record in an NBA season is 1 loss. I think the Larry Bird Celtics did that, maybe one of the teams.
Just 1.
And so now 2 losses. They lost to San Antonio. The loss of the Bulls was in overtime. They've lost 1 game in regulation, the Warriors at home. So the Wizards, who you say have been struggling, they go in there, they're going to get punked, and they did. They got popped.
That's exactly what happened.
8 bad or missed calls in a recent NBA game in the final couple of minutes.
2 minutes.
2 minutes.
This really ought to be something, because if you miss 8 calls in the final 2 minutes, the most important part of an NBA game.
These are subjective.
This is very bad for the referees.
Illegal screen. I mean, that's a lot of flopping.
There's 8 calls, Mike.
On that. I know, but there's like 4 legit
There's 8 calls, Mike.
He's trying to get out of the
it's
lane
the last
right there.
2 minutes. If there were a living, breathing commissioner in the NBA, he might look into this. He might send these referees to the D-League for some remedial work.
Stafford, one of the best officials in the league.
Really? They stunk in this game. Look. They have transparency, and they stunk.
This is a dumb thing. This is where people decide to people decide, other leagues decide, we're going to be like the NFL. We're going to review officiating and make it public. This is stupid. Your game and officiating do not have the same relationship that the NFL and officiating do.
Is it?
Where there's a static, there's a difference of motion.
Is it something or nothing?
Tony, it's nothing.
Really?
Here's what's something.
Really?
Stop making these things public. Mark Cuban must be having a field day.
This is great.
This subjective. So this is not
what you're doing is saying, let us hide our mistakes and not admit our mistakes.
You can admit them. You don't need to make it public. Work on them. Get better.
That's how
nothing.
That's how NBA people feel. Nothing. 8 blown calls in 2 minutes. Really?
You know, I know what kind of people you are.
You people.
Piccolo player on the Tonight Show. Something or nothing.
This is sweet, but it's nothing. A student gained fame because she continued to play even as her school, Villanova, was losing, and she began to cry. Now, it's great that she played with the Roots. That's a great experience for her. Why would anybody cry when Villanova lost early in the NCAA?
Because she went to Villanova.
They do it every year. Notre Dame does it. Gonzaga does it. Villanova
and their kids
does
cry.
It. This is what happens.
Their kids cry.
So this is a nice gesture on the part of Jimmy Fallon and the Roots,
why it's something?
But it's nothing.
Because it chumped all the moronic meatheads out there, particularly on Twitter, who just attack people.
Well, they shouldn't do that.
But
no,
they
do. They shouldn't do that.
And because they do, this young woman subject to ridicule. She shouldn't be facing.
Not be ridiculed.
And so this is a big deal for the Tonight Show staff to reach out when they saw her and said, come on in here. It shouldn't have to happen. But it is something.
But what is really something is that the NBA refs stink in the last 2 minutes. That's it. I sure am something. Let's take one last break. Still to come. Wilbon genuflex at the feet of Nikola Mirotic.
That's something in Max Seal's face.
Yeah. How's his shooting percentage?
Jim Harbaugh says he's not worth $5 million a year. Smart thing to say?
As long as he's deposited the money, it's fine.
3-point percentage, he's a rookie of the year. I don't give a damn what his 3-point percentage is.
He can't shoot.
Who cares?
Well, most people, when they shoot, would like it to go in.
He got 28-9.
Happy time, people. Happy 39th birthday, Peyton Manning. The oldest quarterback to win a Super Bowl was Peyton's boss, John Elway, who won at age 38. Wilbon, do you think Peyton Manning will get that record for himself?
No. It'd be nice. I'll be rooting for it, but I can't see it. Starling Castro 25 years old today, Tony, on a team I care about. I don't care about them. Just saying.
Great. Happy anniversary, Andy Enfield. On this day 2 years ago, you led Florida Gulf Coast into the Sweet 16, the first 15 seed to ever advance that far. Florida Gulf Coast was great fun to watch because everybody dunked all the time. USC gave Enfield a big contract, and since then, USC has sunk beneath the waves of the Pacific Ocean. 5-31 in conference.
It's like the Bobby Ewing dream season in Dallas. They can't wake up from this nightmare at USC. They better wake up.
Happy trails, Herb Sendek. Sendek was fired by Arizona State today after 9 years.
Man.
Although he had a winning overall record, he was 20 games below 500 in conference and made the NCAAs only twice. Wilbon, not even the curtain of distraction could keep the Jackals at Arizona State from firing Herb Sendek.
I know something about that state. There's one standard of comparison there. The Arizona Wildcats. They're in your bracket.
Very tough.
Sun Devils in your bracket?
No.
No, they haven't been in a long time.
Just one error. Wilbon, you said that Carol Rosenblum was 40 years older than Georgia Frontiere.
50?
He was only 20 years older, and you need to apologize.
He was married 7 times.
Right.
He was fairly young.
What do you mean he was fairly young? He died when he was in his 70s.
He died there, but I mean, when he married Georgia, he was fairly young.
What are you, the marriage expert here? We're running out of show. We go to the big finish.
Let's do it.
Your Bears signed Ray McDonald. How should fans feel about that?
Conflicted, Tony. I mean, he's been involved in a lot of stuff, but they need help everywhere
It's like
on
a
the
Greg
football
Hardy
field.
signing, isn't it?
Maybe not that dramatic as he's contesting, but still. Dwight Howard is expected to return tomorrow. Is that a big deal?
He's been out for most of the year.
Yeah.
I don't think you can depend on him anymore.
James Harden doesn't seem to need him, does he?
Nikola Mirotic of the Bulls had 28 last night in a Bulls win. Have you changed your son's name to Nikola yet?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you, Nico. What did you say?
Yeah.
A Fox 2 reporter in Detroit asked Jim Harbaugh if he's worth $5 million a year. Harbaugh said no. You like that candor?
It's not just candor. It's a recognition that Detroit's a blue-collar city and Michigan is a blue-collar state. And you don't want to seem uppity in a place like that. Last one, Spurs are at the Mavs tonight. Is that actually a big deal?
Interesting, Nico, that you asked me that.
Yeah.
It's a big deal for the Mavericks for both, actually, because they're only a game apart in the West, I mean, Nico.
Yeah. We're out of time. We'll try to do better the next time. I'm Nikola Kornheiser.
That's my rookie of the year. I'm Mike Wilbon. Same time tomorrow, Knucklehead. Check out the PTI podcast on iTunes.
Larry Joannis, thank you for the cake.
ESPN Radio.
With the action on the court, the diamond, or the gridiron.
Comes alive.
The NBA.
The San Antonio Spurs are the world champions.
Major League Baseball.
San Francisco Giants are the champions of the baseball world.
The new college football playoff.
College football playoff national champions, the Ohio State Buckeyes.
Your home for the best in sports play-by-play.
ESPN Radio.